Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. This is Samar from the Naqabi Diaries, and I'm reading this book, The Ideal Muslimah. Link to the PDF version in the description box, inshallah. So this section is entitled She Keeps Her Promises. This reminds me of a saying, which is, don't make promises that you can't keep. And subhanallah, sometimes, we very loosely say that we're going to do something. We promise somebody something, we make an appointment, then we break it, or we promise that we're going to do something for somebody when really sometimes maybe we don't have the real intention to do it, and we're saying inshallah, inshallah, inshallah. And subhanallah, it's become commonly known that in the Muslim community even, that often when people say inshallah, it's almost like it means that they don't really intend to do it. Astaghfirullah. It shouldn't be like that. Yes, by the will of Allah, something will happen if it's going to happen. But when we say inshallah, when we have promised somebody that we're going to do something, we should have a firm intention that this is actually the case, and that we are, as upstanding, truthful Muslims, that we are going to do our best endeavors to fulfill that appointment, to fulfill that agreement, to fulfill that promise that we've made to somebody. It shouldn't be that we have in the back of our mind, well, I don't really have to do this because it doesn't really matter, or we consider that thing of low importance. It shouldn't be like that. We should have, our words should be our deeds. If we say we're going to do something, we should do it. And this goes for our children as well, because many times adults, parents think that, we can promise our children things in order to get them to behave how we want them to behave in the moment. But then later on, we're not upholding that promise. We're not upholding, that what we told them that we was going to actually do. And this is wrong, because we're teaching our children then to have this kind of dishonest personality. We're showing them that it's okay to just say that you're going to do something and never do it. So we need to be careful with our children, especially as women and parents, that whenever we promise our children something, we fulfill it. And if we are not intending to fulfill that thing, then we should never say that we're going to do it in the first place, because this is going to bring distrust to that child's heart, and you'll be teaching them that lying is okay and it's acceptable, or not keeping your promises is okay as well. And it's mentioned many times in the Quran that as Muslims we need to keep our promises. We are the people who keep to and abide by our contracts that we made with people, whether it's verbal or non-verbal. So this is important, and that goes for even, for example, if somebody does work for us and we have agreed that we are going to pay this person a certain amount for the work, we must make sure that we uphold that contract. Because in my personal experience, this has happened to me a few times in the Muslim community. I've been treated like this from other Muslims. They've agreed to pay a certain amount for a specific work, and then later on they change their mind that what work they want done, for example, maybe add on some other jobs, and then at the end they refuse to pay you for that work that you've done, whether it's the extra work. So this is another way that people are cheating and not upholding and keeping their promises. And astaghfirullah, it's having that experience as a Muslim from other Muslims is very disheartening. So what about the non-Muslim community when they have these experiences with Muslims? A'udhu billah. This is something that gives people a very negative perception of Islam and Muslims, and it ties into the negative stereotypes that are already being perpetuated in the media. And one of the ayat in the Quran, ayah 34 of Surah 17, it says, and fulfill every engagement, for every engagement will be inquired into on the day of reckoning. So this is something that on Yawm al-Qiyamah we will have to answer to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So this goes back to our intentions. Did we intend to keep these engagements? Did we intend to keep this agreement? Did we intend to uphold our promises? So we need to make sure we keep our word as much as possible, because our religion is not just rituals. It's not just praying 5 times a day, going for Hajj, doing some sadaqah, or paying the zakat, wearing the niqab, hijab, or having the beard. It's actually something which should, all these rituals that we perform them out of submission and obedience to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And as a result of that, we should also have good and pure characters, because this is what is pleasing to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Because if we don't have clean insides, clean hearts, then when we perform these deeds, they will be worthless. And we don't want that. They will be just something we're doing physically, but not with that connection to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, to really become those people that he has chosen, and that he is guided. Guidance is something that people should see from us, not just from how we're dressing, but from our actions, from our words. And this is a hadith that's been mentioned before. The Prophet Muhammad ﷺ said that the signs of the hypocrite are three: when he speaks, he lies; when he makes a promise, he breaks it; and when he is entrusted with something, he betrays that trust. And it says here that according to a report given by a Muslim, he sallallahu alaihi wasallam added, even if he fasts, prays, and thinks that he is a Muslim. Subhanallah, subhanallah. So look at this. So even if we're doing all the obligatory actions, if our personalities, if our characteristics, and if our words do not meet up to these rituals that we're performing, then these rituals will become something like empty. They're just empty deeds that we're doing. So we need to have clean, pure hearts, be honest people who keep our promises, inshallah. When we say inshallah, we really should mean sincerely that inshallah we are going to fulfill that obligation, or whatever it is that we said that we're going to do for somebody, whoever it is, whether it's Muslim or non-Muslim. Inshallah you benefited. Anything that I've said which is correct is from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, and anything that I've said which is incorrect is from myself, and Allah knows best. Wassalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.